Hey guys, this is Rob. That was sent to me that someone sent to me. Um, they sent me this trade that I wanted to review because there was a couple things wrong that I think that might help some people out. Uh, they are following the trade rules that you will find and learn at Forex Early Warning. That is a great place to go to learn the rules. Well, with this particular position. They knew I was following the pound New Zealand. I did very well with the pound New Zealand. Right now, the New Zealand is consolidating, and that's what I wanted to go over with him and them also to show and see if this might be something that might help you guys out also. What they did is they looked at the longer time frames and they saw that there was an entry point that we could get in. I don't know exactly where this was. This lower entry point, it might be like, let's say, around 2650 or so. It might looks like maybe about 2650. Well, what he did is he looked at this, and the way that you do it, you look on the longer time frames. Then he looked on the shorter time frames and found, hey, we have a good point. He set an alarm there, is what you want to do. Well, I believe he said about 7:30 this morning. He is Eastern Standard Time, which is in the trading window. He did have a good consolidation. He took it short around 7:30. Now, the only thing that I would say is that you in your plan, you always want to make sure you know when the news is coming out. We had 8:30 news, not that big of a deal, but just remember you don't really want to be trading before a news item. And if you do trade, you want to have it in a place where you could get even. He was never going to get even in this position either way, and I'll show you why. Um, but you want to be able to get even or take some profit before that new news comes out. Well, what happened was he had his entry come in, and then he looked. He had plenty of headroom. There was over 200 pips that he could go. So when that triggered, he did what was right. He went over to the heat map, and the heat map did show New Zealand strength. So we would want to have New Zealand strength. Now remember, we have two sides of this. He looked at it and he saw that the New Zealand was weak, which is correct. It even said the pound New Zealand goes short as what he said was a slingshot, and it was a slingshot. When you take a look at the pound, let me see if I could get this to a point where, okay, at least we could at least see it. The pound also did have some weakness also. But here's what we have to remember. If you look back, actually, it was my pound New Zealand trade a couple of weeks ago that I got into that I talked about this. Take a look on the channel and look at heat map entry back there. This heat map did tell us to go short, but we have to remember that is an entry tool. And that is looking at that very small time frame period of what it was just looking at. If you go back, if you remember, I said on the H4, you want to make sure that you have confirmation. And the way this is set up, you'll notice there was no confirmation of going short on this, because what we want to look at, if we take a look at let's take a look at the New Zealand's, because that's what I'm analyzing here, because that's one of the sides. Remember, this is only going to move if the New Zealand gets strong, or if the pound gets weak. Now, we saw it on the heat map, but what we still have to remember is we have to do our multiple time frame analysis. And if you remember from a couple of weeks ago, I said you want to have a fresh cross on an H4. And this is just showing you how you could really get beat up if you're just going to the heat map and looking at that as an entry. That is not an entry tool. It's an entry verification. If you would have just went one step further, and remember to try and look when you're looking to get in on the trend, you want to have a nice fresh cross on your H4 too. Well, when you take a look against the New Zealand Swiss, this is consolidating. So just from this chart right here, you can tell that it's going to be consolidating from here to here. So you're going to be getting chopped to pieces. Same thing here. We actually had New Zealand strength, it was okay, but it was rolling over, which it was flat again. So now we have consolidation on one, consolidation against the USD. We have pretty much consolidation, maybe a little bit, that was rolling over on the New Zealand. We have consolidation on the actual pair he was looking at. There wasn't a fresh cross here. There was consolidation after a come down. It was consolidating here. What we have to remember is that when these are consolidating, when you look on larger time frames, that means that you have consolidation across the pair. You do not want to get into a pair that is consolidating. You want to get into a fresh move of a pair that is breaking out of consolidation, and that's going to be in the May trade session. I just stated that straight from Best Time to Trade, which is one of the 35 Forex lessons over at Forex Early Warning. That's where I originally learned. I think it was probably around 10 or 11 years ago now. But I just said that statement directly out of that. You guys need to read them. So make sure you're going back and go to forexearlywarning.com and read those lessons. Those are the best lessons on the internet, and they don't even charge anything for it. So go over there and take a look at it. But we have to remember that we have to get into a fresh move. Do we see a fresh move here anywhere? So now I understand the heat map. Remember, the heat map is to verify that last minute strength when you're getting in at the last minute to verify. But we didn't have an entry here because we have consolidation. I mean, we had consolidation on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 out of the 7 for sure. And then we had a little bit of up movement that might have turned over a little bit as you were getting in. But come on, guys, it's consolidating on 5 out of 7. This is not something you take short, even if the heat map says it. You have got to have your multiple time frame analysis telling you to get into an entry, and then the heat map verifies it. This is a mistake that I had to answer probably around 5 or 6 times now. So please write this down in your trading plans for tomorrow. Take a minute, think about what we just went over. Write this down in your trading plan so you're not doing it over again. If you made a mistake today, that's fine, but fix it. Make sure it's in your trading plan for tomorrow. For tomorrow, for him, I would say make sure that you're not trading into a major news. Or if you do trade with news coming up, make sure there's enough time that you can get profitable and get even. You are never going to get profitable in this trade because you are oscillating. So the pair was doing exactly what it was telling you. It was oscillating from probably about this 2680 area down to this 2650 area, and it was oscillating. It was telling you that it was doing that. And you entered in on a small little break of that oscillation, but it wasn't a fresh move when you want to take a look across the whole thing. So the second thing I'm going to say is look for fresh moves across all of your H4s, not just one. This was 5 of them here were telling us that it was consolidating. That told us, guess what? This is going to bounce right back up. And guess what? That's exactly what it did. It actually even broke above here in today's trading, and it actually went long for a while. So step number 2 is make sure you have that fresh cross. I said that maybe a week or 2 ago in one of these lessons. So write this down. Don't make this mistake tomorrow that you're getting into something that's consolidating on 5 out of 7. Make sure. Now, if this was a nice fresh cross, what happens is when you have a nice fresh cross on an H4, you're going to get that 40 to 50 pips you're going to need with the momentum to be able to get your stops to break even. If you're getting into something that's in the middle of a consolidation like this, you're going to get chopped out. I have a couple of other ones that shows that the reason why you could have been chopped out is that you were looking at the wrong pair. Now this, we have to remember that there's 2 sides to this. So analyze all the pound pairs the same exact way here. See if I don't have that chart from him, but see if those pounds, I know for a fact that the pounds were pretty much consolidating. When I did my analysis, it was consolidating and then also almost a little bit of a positive look to them. So, I mean, this would not be something if he looked across the pounds, because I'm looking to get into the pound New Zealand again. And don't ever take this stuff as trading as something to do. This is stuff that's already done. This is something that I'm looking at. But right now, New Zealand's in a nice consolidation across the board. Yes, this is something that we want to watch over the next couple of days, see if we can get into something as it breaks out of the consolidation, which means that we have to have a fresh cross here. Okay, guys, so take a couple minutes, write down the rules that you need to write down because for any mistakes that you've been making, and make sure you don't make them tomorrow. Have a good trading day tomorrow. Have a good one.